the Football Postcast in association with Paddy Power, the place to bet on football in play with a huge special every weekend.
A warm welcome to the Racing Post Weekend Football Postcast. The panel consists of today me, Bruce Millington, him, Dan Childs, him, Mark Langdon, and over in Ireland in Paddy Power Towers, Adrian Croak, isn't it? I keep wanting to call you Adrian Crow, but it's Adrian Croak. Welcome along, Adrian. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weekend Premier League matches to get stuck into. We've got all the best of the rest of the weekend matches. And also, we will start off by looking at the big topics of the week. It's 6 questions, 2 each, and then the guys get to choose the one they wish they had been asked. Mark Langdon, very simple one for you. Goal of the season, Carroll or Giroud? Or someone else?
In my opinion, I enjoyed watching the Carroll one more. I think Giroud will win, but for me, just because it's kind of unusual.
I don't think it will. It's a fluke, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, I suppose there's a certain amount of flukeness to it, if you like. But the goal I enjoyed most was Carroll's because I hadn't seen it live, and usually when everybody goes on about how great a goal is, and then you watch it, it's never it's never as exciting. But the Carroll one was a real wow moment.
Yeah.
I think because of the size of him and the power he generated, it was absolutely phenomenal.
I was sitting in the stadium right opposite the edge of the box and saw the ball chipped up, and then he just did that. And I must admit, I almost got off from my seat and applauded. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It's the goal I've enjoyed most. I still think Giroud's will win.
I think the bookmakers just about. You're not betting on it, Adrian, are you? But I think the bookmakers are just about edging. Those that are just about edging towards Carroll. Maybe it's a bit of recency bias.
Yeah, but potentially. But I enjoyed the Carroll one more personally. Yeah.
Okay, Dan Childs, worst signing of the season so far.
Worst sign of the season. God, blimey.
You've seen Watford quite a bit, Dan.
Yeah. No, I mean they've signed some players that are just injured all the time. Really, Isaac Success.
You can't do anything like that. Then,
no, injured all the time. Akaka injured all the time.
What about the old goalie for Man City? He's been pretty shit. He's
got to be up there. I mean, people were excusing him earlier in the season, saying that that's the way they want to play, and he'll get used to it. But he's
not even any good at that. Though,
he was bought to be good with the ball at his feet, and he hasn't looked good with the ball at his feet. So he'd be right up there. I mean, Simone Zaza, you would say, but then again, that's not going to be triggered now, is it? Whether it was going to be 17 million if he played the right number of games, but
so they had a free shot at that. He didn't last his probation.
Well, they started to stop playing him, didn't they, to make sure it didn't trigger? But
okay, well, if you think of any more during the show, let us know. We'll bowl you your first delivery, Adrian. What's been the best signing of the season? Would you say, Adrian?
I do look at Sadio Mane at Liverpool. He's
how
really
much did he cost you?
I think it was 32 million.
God,
don't quote me on that, but I think
he's
it was
good.
a lot.
I mean, he's good. He's been good.
He seems to have fitted in exactly what they want to do.
They're missing him, aren't they?
Yeah, they are missing him. He's just all action, moving about all the time. I can't think of anyone. I thought Borja Baston was going to be good for Swansea, and he can't get into the team.
Oh, that's left field. Okay, so we'll stick with Mane for that one. Right, Mark Langdon, African Nation. What's been your main thought so far in the tournament?
About the draw. Yeah. There's been a lot of draws.
And lots of no's as well, hasn't there?
In terms of the BTS. I mean, I suppose Algeria have probably been the biggest disappointment, or certainly one of the biggest disappointments so far. I mean, not being able to beat Zimbabwe was a real shocker, despite the fact Mahrez got 2 goals. I mean, usually 2 goals should be enough to win you 2 games in the AFCON, never mind 1. At
least they're involved in the goal of the tournament so far, the game of the tournament.
I mean, it's been very tight, and I think that maybe it just goes to show that Ivory Coast and Algeria, 2 of the sort of front runners, maybe we're a little bit too short in the betting, given that there doesn't appear to be a great deal between a whole stack of them.
Okay, fair enough. Dan, I want to ask. I need some advice here.
Yeah.
I cannot make it pay with Everton. I am absolutely useless with Everton. Every time I back them to do well, they do badly. Every time I oppose them, they do well. Yeah. What's the secret to Everton? What will they do between now and the end of the season?
I wish, because I mean, I've been in exactly the same boat. I remember the game at Southampton, which was their worst performance of the season. I backed them then.
They were terrible at Hull, weren't they?
I backed Man City against Everton at the weekends, and they produced probably their best performance of the season. So they're such a hard team. What I would say the key elements are, which they haven't got at the moment. But McCarthy and Gay earlier in the season, the few times they played together. They played well. They had that energy in midfield.
So you think McCarthy rather than Barry is the way forward?
Yeah, I think I know they beat Man City 4-0, but I still think that was more that showed up Manchester City's deficiencies more than Everton being a fantastic performance. I thought they took advantage of it and defended most of the game. I mean, if you look at until Everton got their second goal, Man City had pretty much dominated the match. So I wouldn't go.
Where will they finish?
I think they'll be. I would have them 9th or 10th. I'm not so sure they're as good as everybody's thinking
really?
at the moment. Yeah, I think they rely a lot on Lukaku when he fancies it, which isn't every week. You know, they tend to play a lot better. But I'm still not convinced by the makeup of their midfield, and they'll do better when Idrissa comes back though from the African.
Yeah, I thought he's fizzled out. He was very bright at the start of the season.
I think he's a lot of unseen work. Everton, when they play at their best, it's at high tempo, and it's when he gets that press going in midfield. When he's out the side, especially when McCarthy's not there as well, I think you do notice it. But
okay. Adrian, sorry, going back to Mark's previous question, I meant to get a little blast of African nation out right there. Have you got one for us?
I do indeed, yeah. So, favourite at the moment, Senegal at 5-2, Ivory Coast 9-2, Algeria 8-1, Ghana 8-1, and Cameroon kind of loading out the top 5 at 10s.
Any new value there, Mark?
No, I mean, I'd said Senegal should have been this time last week. I said Senegal should be favourites, about the only thing I did get right last week. And yeah, they are the rightful favourites.
Okay.
You know, they've got probably the best. I mean, Mane is, I think, could develop into a very special player, actually.
Okay. I often finish up with a fairly obscure, abstract question, but this is not obscure or abstract. Adrian Croak, who wins the Premier League now and why?
It's Chelsea, isn't it? They're just they're too far clear at this stage. Looking at the chasing pack, Tottenham look quality anytime I've seen them lately. They really do. If Tottenham can beat City away this weekend, I think they'd be best chance to kind of push them towards the end. But you saw Tottenham last year; they fell off. I think Chelsea win it. Yeah.
Give us a quick blast of betting.
Chelsea are current 4-7. Liverpool are 11-2. Tottenham 13-2. Arsenal 12. Man City are 16s and United are 20s.
Okay, dokes. Right, which question do you want to take, Dan?
I'm going to take that title one, and being a Spurs fan, you might be surprised to hear this. I actually think Arsenal are the value on the betting there. I think at 12-1, they're only a point behind Spurs and Liverpool, and they are a consistent side. They've had a little blip over Christmas, but they do.
They often crack on now, don't they? Get
this
their heads
stage
down.
of the season, they do tend to get their heads down, as you say. They often exit the Champions League in the last 16, which helps as well.
Who have they got? Bayern, haven't they?
Yeah. So I mean, that's a good thing if you want to back them in the Premier League. And I just think they're a little bit overpriced. So, I mean, Chelsea are the clear favourites, but if they are going to have a blip, the next 4 games, 2 of them are at home to Arsenal and away to Liverpool. So there is a chance of some drop points there. It's only 8 points from Chelsea to Arsenal. So if Arsenal were to go and win there, all of a sudden they could be quite close. So I think just 12 is when you think that they're a point behind Spurs, who are 15-2, a point behind Liverpool are 13-2, 12's Arsenal. It looks big to me.
Okay. Dan, I'm sorry, Mark, which one would you like to answer?
I'd take the signings one. The key with the worst ones is that they're usually so bad by now you've forgotten that they're even there. So I'll go for the best. I think David Luiz at Chelsea. I don't think Chelsea would be where they are if they hadn't signed David Luiz, because, I mean, that was a key. We've seen when John Terry's played this season, they've not been anywhere near as comfortable defensively. Luiz has been the key man in that back three, and that he can play out from the back. He's been the organiser and the leader. He somehow got the blame for what happened at Tottenham. I don't see either of the goals were his fault, but he got the blame because he stepped out a little bit. But I mean, that's the way he plays. He's always on the front foot. He's a front foot defender. I suppose occasionally he may get caught out of position, but I mean, I think he's been an absolute leader of that team, and that's the reason why they're so far clear.
I think he's looked a much better defender in this second spell at Chelsea than he did at times in his first spell. He looks far more concentrated now and does his defensive duties primarily, and then he's brilliant on the ball as well.
The trouble is, of course, the average football fan, they make their mind up and that's it, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, he's a laughing stock. Do you remember that World Cup semi-final? Blah blah blah. They just they can't shed their image of him. So
that World Cup semi-final is just one of those amazing things that you probably never be able to put your finger on. How 11 professional footballers of that kind of standard completely just mentally crumbled. It's just one of those things.
Astonishing. Adrian, which question do you want to answer?
Goal of the season.
Go on then.
I think it's got to be Andy Carroll, hands down.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Beautiful. That was a better bicycle kick than one Rooney got against City. I wasn't a fan of the Giroud goal at all. It just seemed so fluky. He just threw a leg at it and somehow ended up going in more than Carroll's.
And also, he lost about 25% of the sort of capital he'd made by that ludicrous celebration at Bournemouth. Didn't he? I still have this brilliant thought of Alex Ferguson being the manager and one of his players doing that, and Ferguson just like literally walking onto the field and frog marching him off in a headlock. But OK, chaps, thank you very much indeed. Right, we'll take a quick break and then we'll look at Adrian Croke's beloved Liverpool.
Here's Paddy's latest offer. It's 2 up, you win. For all Premier League and La Liga matches, we'll pay out immediately if the team you back goes 2 goals up. Not available in shops. T&C Supply. 18+. Gambleware.co.uk.
Good offer that, isn't it? Your team goes 2-0 up and you get paid out. I love the sound of that. Liverpool could go 2-0 up against Swansea at the weekend. I'm sure the market would expect that to happen. It's the opening game of the Premier League weekend. It kicks off at 12:30. Liverpool are going to be very short. Are they too short? Before the chaps have their say, Adrian will give us a show.
So Liverpool 2-9 to win it, draws 11-2, and Swansea 12-1.
OK, Dan Charles, we'll start with you. What do you make of this game?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a big golfing class between the teams, but you're looking to try and get an angle on that. And I just think there is a slight sign of improvement with Swansea at the moment, even though they lost 4-0 at home in the last game. The first half against Arsenal, they did look like they played quite well, and probably 0-0 was the least they deserved going into the break there, and got blown away with a big spell of goals in the second half. But I just feel there's a bit of improvement. They won at Palace, obviously, before then. And the manager, Clement, when he was at Derby as well, he does try and get the defence improved first. He tries to focus on shoring up at the back. So I think we'll start to see that quite soon, that Swansea will be a little bit tighter at the back. And that's
What's the bet then?
Well, that's my angle for this game. I think first goal after the 22nd minute at 10-11 looks reasonable. I don't think Liverpool are quite as effective going forward without Mane. I think that is a big blow to them, the pace he gives them, just something a little bit different up front. It's a little bit samey with the players that they've got when Mane's not there. So I think Swansea can hold out until the second half of the first half.
OK, Mark, what's your view of this? And before you give me, I just want to know what you think about this situation with Liverpool's main striker and Klopp's seeming sort of doubts about who he should be sticking up top at the moment.
Well, I don't think there'll be any doubts now Coutinho's back, because he can just put Firmino in.
He likes that, him in there.
He does, yeah, because Firmino leads the press for them. I mean, he explained quite eloquently on Sky before how that works, and he's kind of, without Coutinho, Firmino's been the one that's been shifted out to the left, and they've been playing maybe with Origi there, or maybe Sturridge, or he's tried a few different ideas. They went with a diamond in that Old Trafford on Sunday, and the way they played when Coutinho came on was like their best 20 minutes of the whole game. I mean, he makes such a difference to them. I think we're going to start seeing Liverpool getting back to the blowing teams away now that Coutinho's back. He got a decent amount of time into his legs against Plymouth. So I was just looking to play the Liverpool half-time, full-time double result market here. I mean, if you have a look at their 7 home wins in the Premier League this season, 6 of those they were ahead at the breaks. Swansea, for all that they're maybe not quite as bad as the league table would suggest. I mean, they just can't. Clean sheets are just not forthcoming for them, and they've conceded at least 3 goals in 5 of their last 6 in the Premier League. So I can just see them taking another tonking, and the games don't get much easier for them. They've got a really tough spell at the moment, and maybe sort of February time before Clement can really get a handle on them.
OK, slight difference of opinion from the boys there then. So Dan thinks that Swansea can hold out for 22 minutes. Mark thinks they won't be able to hold out for 45 minutes. Adrian, what price are Liverpool? Liverpool on the double result, and what's your fancy here?
Liverpool on the double result are 4-6. That's half-time, full-time. And my fancy, it's a tough one, because I think Liverpool could take the foot off the pedal going later into the game with the League Cup to look at next week. So I wouldn't be expecting them to thrash them. So maybe taking Swansea on the +2 handicap at 11-10, something like that. Might be your best way to go out here. OK, 5:30. It's a real humdinger, this one. Man City are struggling like mad against Tottenham, who are the opposite of struggling like mad.
And it takes place at the Etihad Stadium, 5:30. Like I say, it's going to be an absolute cracker. Tottenham won the last 6 matches, scoring at least 2 goals in each in the process. Harry Kane is very much on his game. So, a fascinating game and a fascinating betting market, Adrian.
Yes, it is. So Man City currently 23-20 at home, 12-5 for the draw, and Spurs are 5-2 to win at Man City.
Right, we've got a pair of Spurs fans here. What's the verdict? Dan Childs.
The obvious thing would, value-wise, that 5-2 does look a good price. When you look at the game last season, Spurs went and won there last season when City were probably playing quite a bit better than they were now. I mean, but I just feel that after that Everton game, and there's going to be such a determination they cannot be that bad. There's going to be a real focus in the City camp this week to leave that behind. They were under pressure before the Arsenal game and come out and played one of their best home performances of the season. Although they won 2-1, and I mean they dominated that game for about the last 70 minutes. But again, I mean, the way that Spurs are playing at the moment, I don't really fancy City at the price that they are. So I just think it'll be a tight game. Spurs, obviously, without Vertonghen, we have to see how their defence is going to shape up. Ben Davies came on for him at the weekend. So it's probably Ben Davies or Wimmer if they're going to play with that 3 at the back they've been playing. But I just think it's a close one to call, and 12-5 the draw looks a good price.
Dan likes the draw. Mark, who do you like?
Yeah, I'm sort of torn here because I mean you look at the way Spurs are playing and you think
it's a real test of this, isn't it?
It is, you feel like they can go to the Etihad and definitely win, and then you've also got to look at the fact that City are odds against to beat Tottenham, which I think could also be considered a value bet, really, because City have beaten Arsenal, they've beaten Barcelona at home, they've won away at Old Trafford, so they are a team that can. They should have beaten Chelsea. I mean, how they lost that game. De Bruyne missed the open goal. If they go 2-0 up, it's all over in that one. I was just looking, though. I mean, I just can't trust them defensively. You've already mentioned Claudio Bravo. I mean, he was a decent goalkeeper in Spain and for the national team. I don't know if he just lost his confidence, but he's not saving any shots. Danny Rose is 14-1 to score. He's got 2 in 24. Which doesn't suggest maybe that 14s is massive, but he's obviously playing as the left
push him
wing.
Right on now, don't they?
If they play the left wing back now, he's really high up the pitch. He's missed a couple of chances in those games. He's probably playing as well as any other left back, probably in Europe at the moment, and that goes attacking and defending. I don't like City defensively, and that may give you an interest. Kyle Walker's 20 to score as well. I mean, those fullbacks are playing like wingers now, so maybe one of those can get on the score sheet. Really tough game, so I am expecting goals, so maybe Danny Rose can pop up at, like I say, a really big price.
That they were your impartial expert views as Tottenham fans. Do you have this horrible gut feeling about this one? Do you know what I mean? That kind of City can't keep being this bad.
I mean, the gut feeling is no, that it's more the sensible view that's thinking maybe Tottenham can't win.
The gut feeling is come on, you Spurs.
Yeah,
my head says that they've got a very good chance of winning, but I do that. You're right. I do just fear that City can't be as bad.
One thing you would say is that Spurs I didn't think they played well at Old Trafford. They were too timid when they lost that game, and they're always at their best when they attack teams and go after them. Vertonghen's a massive loss as well.
Okay, that's the Chaz and Dave view. What do you think, Adrian?
Yeah, I've seen the last 3 Spurs games and they've looked absolutely phenomenal. But on the other side of that, 23-20 for City at home to Spurs just doesn't sound right. It doesn't look right. I think City will shorten, but I couldn't trust them to beat them. Not after last week's display. Couldn't trust.
So you're not having a bet?
No,
Okay.
if I was having one, it'd be City, but I couldn't back them.
Okay, let's get the best bets then of the weekend.
This will not be beaten.
Righty-ho, Dan Charles, you go first.
Fulham in the Championship to win the derby away to QPR. They've Fulham just 6 points outside the playoffs now. Got a game in hand as well, so they're really doing well. 2 defeats in 12. Both of them were against Brighton, so it shows how well they're playing at the moment. Fulham, one of the best footballing sides, passing sides in the Championship at the moment. QPR, they've had a bit of a revival. Won the last 3 actually.
They were good against Reading.
Yeah, they
I
played
actually
well.
thought they were quite good against Brighton for a fair bit.
I'm not so convinced by Reading actually in the Championship, which is another issue. But I mean, they have lost 4 of the last 5 at home. QPR, so the home form is still pretty shoddy. And I just think Fulham at evens. They're such a strong team at the moment. Chris Martin, the other thing as well. That situation sorted out.
That's all sorted.
He was their best player last week as well in the win over Barnsley. He had a fantastic game, and I just think they'll
What was
kick
he
on
thinking
now.
of, though? What is wrong with these bloody footballers going on strike and stropping around?
Did Fulham miss 2 penalties in the reverse fixture? Pretty sure they did it at Craven Cottage. Yeah,
Good Lord. OK, so Dan's going for Fulham. I'm going to go for Preston North End. Draw no bet at Aston Villa. I think the market's way too skewed. I think Preston are decent. Watched them looking very good against Arsenal in the Cup. And then obviously they did us a favour by beating Brighton last week. So I think Preston shouldn't... Probably 11-4 to win the game's pretty decent, but I'll bottle out and go 13-8 the draw no bet. What about you, Mark?
German Bundesliga returns this weekend, going for Bayer Leverkusen at home to Hertha. I mean, the table says that Leverkusen are 9th and Hertha are 3rd. That gap definitely won't exist come the end of the season. I think the break came at the right time for injury hit Leverkusen. Got a lot of their big hitters back now, expecting them to kick on. As we've seen in the Champions League, I mean, they're through to the last 16 and a really good side in that. I don't know what's gone wrong in the Bundesliga. It can't continue.
What price are they?
They're around about sort of the 3 to 4, 8 to 11 at home to Hertha, who, like I say, are really punching above their weight.
Looks a very good side in the Spurs group, didn't they, Leverkusen?
Can I just get your view on this, by the way? Some bookmakers, I'm not sure what Paddy Power, some bookmakers are 40 Seville for the Champions League. That's big, isn't it? They've got Leicester, and then you're getting 20-1 to win the quarter-final and the semi.
Yeah, it is. I think Leicester
Was that a polite endorsement or a genuine one?
No, it's a genuine... I mean, Leicester will enjoy playing Sevilla because Sevilla attack and Leicester are a counter-attacking team. But I mean, assuming that there is a real golfing class there. I mean, I always like the underrated sort of Spanish teams. I mean, we've seen it with down the years, Deportivo, Atletico, Valencia. They've all had their spells where they've done very well in the Champions League.
I just think against heavyweight teams, that's something they've obviously done well in the Europa League over the years. But you look at the recent Copa del Rey tie against Real Madrid. Real Madrid rest a lot of players and still come through.
They beat them in the league.
In the league. Yeah. But the away form is the big worry, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm standing firm. I think 40s is massive. Sorry, Adrian. We'll get to you. What's your bet of the weekend?
I'm going for United to drop points, and I'll be looking at Stoke on the double chance.
Stoke on the double chance. What price is that?
Well, they're 92 to win it, 3-1 to get the draw, so the double chance is 6-4.
Is that because you're just rabidly anti-Man U, or is there some science behind this one?
It's partly rabidly anti-Man U, yeah. I think I'll just go with that. But yeah, I do like Stoke. They looked good against Chelsea. I think they were fortunate enough to get bet 4-2 that day. They gave them a good test of it. And United at 8-13 at what do they call this, Stoke?
Oh, you probably not. You probably don't want to say what it is. It's a bookmaker. It's a rival bookmaker's website. What used to be called the Britannia.
Oh, right, yeah.
We call it the stadium formerly known as Britannia.
Let's call it the Bet 365. OK, I'll have a quick break and then we'll look at Sunday's triple header.
Here's Paddy's latest offer. It's 2 up, you win. For all Premier League and La Liga matches, we'll pay out immediately if the team you back goes 2 goals up. Not available in shops. T&C supply. 18+. Gambleware.co.uk.
Hi there, it's Bruce Millington, Dan Childs, Mark Langdon and Paddy Power's Adrian Cook, and we are looking ahead to 3 Premier League live games on Sunday, kicking off at 12 o'clock with Southampton versus Leicester. Leicester have failed to win their last 12 away games, so presumably Adrian Cook, Paddy Power are fairly short about the Saints.
Yeah, they're 10-11 to win it, 23-10 to draw, and Leicester 7-2 at the moment.
I must admit, if I'm going to miss one of these 3, it's going to be this one. I don't think it's going to be that good. What do you think, Dan?
I don't think it'll be a wonderful game. I think Southampton are the likely winners, and I think 10-11's a fair price. I think the Southampton, I keep saying it, but they are in a false position in the league. I think they had a tough time with the Europa League fixtures earlier in the season. Then the Christmas fixtures, they were absolutely done over, weren't they, with the 3 games in 6 days. So I just think they've had a lot against them, and you've got to pick and choose your games with them, like you were saying about Everton trying to get them right. With Southampton, when they get close to their first team ready, I mean, the Liverpool game in the Cup, for example, when they won 1-0, they could have won 2 or 3 as well.
That's a factor here as well, Dan, isn't it? When's the second leg?
It is.
Wednesday?
But he rested a lot of players for the game last night against Norwich. So with a league position, I don't think he can afford at the moment to be taking the Premier League not totally seriously.
Why? They can't qualify for Europe and they can't go down.
Well, they can go down. It's not impossible. Leicester, who everybody are saying that are in danger, only 3 points behind Southampton.
Okay, fair enough.
Have dropped too close to be totally comfortable. So
it's a sort of relegation 3-pointer there. Isn't it?
I just think you've got to be careful. With a couple of these teams, I mean, they don't look like it at the moment, but if often teams near the bottom, they do put runs together near the end of the season. If that happens, those teams just above, that includes Southampton at the moment, are going to be pulled into trouble. Okay. So they've got to be careful. And
what's the match result going to be then, Daniel?
I think Southampton 2-0, something along those lines.
But the bet is just Southampton
10-11. Yeah.
Mark?
Yeah, I'm going to go the draw. I'm just a bit wary of backing Southampton with this game coming up on Wednesday. I mean, he has really shuffled the pack a lot. If the first team's out there, then maybe you can sort of back them on the day. But I mean, I don't want to be second guessing. I don't want to see like McQueen and players like that. It could turn out to be.
It's got to be about 70 now. Gordon McQueen.
Yeah, they've got. I mean, they've got this rich academy that just seems to continually churn out talent. But if 4 or 5 of them are back in the team again, I don't want to be on them against a Leicester team that I thought were slightly unlucky. I didn't really see that 3-0 coming against Chelsea. They conceded early, and then I thought they were well in the game, conceded another one, and then it's all over. They've only got 3 points away from home now. I'm not sure they've got enough without Mahrez to actually win the game. I'm expecting them to play very defensive like they did at Middlesbrough when they got the 0-0. And I think that Southampton may just have a problem breaking them down. So I'll go for a low-scoring draw.
Are you going to watch this one, Dan? Or are you going to
I might well watch it.
Some TV time?
I might be back in Southampton, so I could watch it.
Okay, fair enough. Where do you stand with Amy on TV watch? She's good as gold with that, is she?
No, not exactly. It's a bit of a tug of war, really, to be honest, between Holby City and football matches.
Well, you presumably got more than one television set in the house.
Yeah, but the other one's upstairs where Joseph will be asleep. So
blimey, O'Reilly, you need to have a look at that one. Mark, what about you? Will you be watching this one?
Probably not. Well, I may have to, I suppose, for work-related reasons, but
old chestnut.
If there's I'm struggling to remember what I think it might be Juventus versus Lazio, the early kickoff in Italy. I mean, if that is if that's right, then
you'll have a flick up.
There's no chance I'll be watching Southampton v Leicester if it's Juve v Lazio.
Adrian, what do you think will happen when Southampton and Leicester lock horns?
I think Southampton probably have it. Leicester are missing Mahrez. That is their best player. So the 10-11 for Southampton probably does look your best bet there. Again, it's dependent on the team they put out, though, how much they rest.
Sure is. 2:15 Arsenal v Burnley. How short are Arsenal?
Arsenal at the moment are 2-9. 2-11. Burnley are 16-1, and then the draw is 6-1.
I was about to say 2-9 sounds short, and then you flicked it up to 2-11. That sounds absolutely ridiculous. No, thank you. I mean, Burnley lost 8 of their last 9 away, but a football pitch is a football pitch, as far as I'm concerned. I couldn't touch Arsenal. Could you, Dan?
Not on obviously on the match result price. I mean, you'd have to have deep pockets, but I just think Burnley is so. The way they play, they don't keep the ball well enough to be effective away from home, and that's the reason that they've got 1 point away from home. They've scored 3 goals away from home. It's they just look. Well, I mean, you look at the goals they scored. Southampton away, the game was over 3-0, and then they nicked one. Late on. Man City, they're playing against 10 men most of the game. So I just don't see how they're going to be effective away from home against one of the top teams. So Arsenal, I can't see them conceding. They got 3 clean sheets in the last 4 Premier League games. So I'll look at the Arsenal win to 0, 5-6. Looks a good price.
Mark?
Yeah, that Juventus-Lazio game is 11:30, so there's no chance I want to watch Southampton v Leicester. I was looking at Arsenal 2-0, 3-0 in this game. I think Sean Dyche probably would kind of take a 2-0. I don't expect them to go chase it. If they're 2-0 down, I don't see him sort of going out there and trying to get one back and maybe ending up in a 4-5. If you have a look at 6 of their 9 away games, Burnley have conceded 2 or 3 goals. I don't really see where they're going to get a goal from. Arsenal, very routine victories. It's not the most super of Super Sundays, is it really?
Not really, but if these tips win, it'll be pretty good. What price are Arsenal to win to 0? What price are they to win 2-0 and 3-0, please, Adrian Croak?
So to win to 0, they're 5-6. To win 2-0, they're 5-1, and to win 3-0, they're 6-1.
Okay, and what do you think will happen here, Adrian?
I'm going with that win to 0 price of 5-6.
Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad, does it? Okay, and then another one here. I suppose there will be a bit of a treble, won't there? Southampton, Arsenal and Chelsea, Adrian, because Chelsea at 4:30 receive Hull. Hull have lost their last away 8 away games, so they're in even worse away form than Burnley. We know what Chelsea are doing. They won 14 of the last 15. So if Arsenal are 2-11, I'm thinking that Chelsea are 1-6 here.
They're actually the same price here, 2-11, 6-1, 16-1 again.
All right. Dan, what do you reckon?
I think it just looks again like a bit of routine Chelsea win. Hull have looked. I actually thought they were playing okay before they sacked Phelan, unusually, but playing better than they were earlier this season, but not getting the results. And they have picked up. They're playing quite well under Marco Silva as well. They got the 3-1 against Bournemouth in the last match. I just feel that their away form again, similar to Burnley, is just so poor. Eight away defeats in a row in the Premier League, and this is their toughest away game of the season. Will Costa play or not? I mean, he's available now, isn't he?
He will, won't he? They'll want to put that to bed quickly, won't they?
Whether he's going to, or will he, for the rest of the squad, there's somebody's going to be fed up if they're left out. Will he say, this is your lesson, you're not playing this week, but you will next time? Who knows? But either way, they played really well without him, didn't they, at Leicester as well, Chelsea? And I just think trying to get a bet on it. I mean, Mark mentioned about the wing-backs for Spurs playing high up, Kyle Walker and Danny Rose and being value. I'm looking at a similar angle with Chelsea. I mean, Alonso got 2 of the goals, didn't he, at Leicester. Got scored against Everton in the game at home as well. Looks quite composed when he gets into those areas. And he's 14-1 to score the first goal. Marcos Alonso here, probably playing higher up the pitch than ever in his career before, in the position he is. Victor Moses on the other side, he's 15-2 again, playing more like
15-2 any time.
A winger. No, 14-1 is to score the first goal, which
for Alonso.
For Alonso,
yeah. Is Victor Moses 15-2 first goal?
15-2 first goal.
Right.
But so I mean that I'm explaining that really that he's double the price of Moses. They've both scored 3 goals this season. Both got, in my mind, a similar chance of scoring. So the Alonso price is the one to go.
Okay, yeah, you make a good case for that. I shall definitely. Every postcast we ever do, I always end up having loads of bets, and one of the ones I definitely do is that one, and also, Mark, your wing-backs against City.
This
sound
Alonso
decent.
one's a very, very sore subject because when Costa didn't play for the first time this season, I put Alonso up in the Racing Post to score first and any time when they played against Bournemouth, because I felt like the wing-backs would have to play higher up the pitch, to compensate for the fact that Costa wasn't playing. And I forgot to do it on last week when Costa wasn't playing, and then it was only when Alonso scored that I'd suddenly remembered what I'd done the last time. But never mind. I'm going to go for Chelsea to win 2-0 here, Bruce. I mean, you mentioned the run they're on, the 14 wins in 15 since they went to the 3-4-3 formation, or whatever variant of it you'd like to call it. Of those 15 matches, 11 have been won 2-0. You look at the ones that weren't. Obviously, there was 2 against Tottenham, 1 against Manchester City, and 1 against Stoke. So outside of the elite teams, only Stoke have scored against them since they went to the 3 at the back in the Premier League. Hull have played 7 games in all competitions against the top 6. They've lost 5 of those 2-0. The 2 that they didn't, there was the set-piece goal against Liverpool and a late consolation penalty at home to Arsenal. Again, a bit like Sean Dyche, I think Hull maybe just want to come out of there with a 2-0 and then move on to sort of matches that are going to dictate their season far more than this one will.
Well, it's 5-6 Arsenal to win 2-0. What price are Chelsea to win 2-0?
8-11 here for Chelsea.
8-11, okay, so you've just modified that given that Chelsea is so prolific at that, but it still sounds a decent enough price. In actual fact, it doesn't sound like a bad double, that, does it? Arsenal and Chelsea both to win 2-0. Okay, Adrian, you can give us the final tip of what is hopefully an absolute brimming pot of winners this week, and what do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Costa doesn't start this week, and you might take a punt at Eden Hazard for the first goal scorer. Then, if he's starting through the middle, you can get him here 3-1.
3-1, jolly good. Okay, chaps. Weekend plans, Dan?
No,
You're not going down to Dean Court, are you, to see the Orns?
No. It's such a small stadium that there's
Can't
very
get
few away tickets. So no, just with the family. Yeah.
Okay, jolly good. And the Rabbit's not well, no?
The Rabbit's struggling. He's at the vet at the moment, but hoping he might pull through. So, yeah.
Fingers crossed for the Rabbit.
Do you know what the Rabbit's called, Bruce?
I don't know.
He's 10 years old, so that's thinking about Spurs' best player around about 10 years ago.
Oh, blimey. Jermaine.
No, not far off. Burbs, yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Good grief. So presumably if you get another one to cheer Joseph up, it'd be called Harry, really, or Delhi.
More likely, yeah.
Oh, wow. Mark, do you have pets?
No.
You're not
can't-
remotely interested, are you?
Can't stand animals. No.
Can't you?
No, not really.
So you don't like animals, music, film, or vegetables?
Yeah, no salad. I think salad's probably the most overrated of all of them. Actually, I mean, I just don't see the point of it.
Right.
Well, in a sandwich, it just spreads all over the nice stuff.
I agree with you on cucumber-wise. I mean, I just don't get cucumber at all. What are you doing the weekend?
No, I'm working. I've just come back off a 3-day mini break, so I'm paying for it at the other end of the week. Yeah.
Are you sports editor Langdon either day?
No, not this. No.
Okay, fair enough. And Adrian, what does the weekend hold for you, my friend?
That will be work.
Work both days?
Of course.
Do you get a lieu day off in the week?
Yeah, so I would have been off yesterday. You get a day off.
How do you like that midweek day off? Because it's quite nice in a way, isn't it? There's a bit of sort of schadenfreude. Everyone else is working, but you're off. But then all your mates are working, aren't they? So there's not a lot you can do. What did you do yesterday on your day off?
Yesterday, it's kind of a bit of life admin, you know. Go do the shopping, see the dentist.
Oh,
nothing too exciting.
You'd rather
no
be
one,
at
no
work.
one to hang out with.
Not a big advert for midweek days off, that is it?
No.
Okay, well, it says here, join us next week for another football postcast when we'll be looking at the 4th round of the FA Cup. But given that we want people to listen to this, perhaps we better not mention the FA Cup. It has been an absolute stinker. There wasn't a single decent 3rd round time. The draw for the 4th round's even worse.
Yeah.
I guess we've just got to hope all the big guns get through, haven't we? And that we get some decent action from the round of 16 onwards. Okay, thank you very much for listening or viewing. If you enjoyed us, do be sure to rate us on iTunes. Thanks very much. We'll see you next Thursday.
The Football Postcast in association with Paddy Power, the place to bet on football in play with a huge special every weekend.